Hello and welcome to Fan/Fiction with Andrew/Zach. I'm Zach Dunsing. And I'm Andrew Gim.
Okay, let's get into it.
So how's it been going?
It's pretty good, man. Getting close to the end of the school year. High School Musical opens next week. We're all in this together.
Efron? With Zac Efron?
Yeah, we got Efron. Got Efron at a little school in Chula Vista, and Zac Efron. We are not putting him on the posters though, because we don't want like too big of audiences. You know,
he's reprising the role in his role in High School Musical, but as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, it takes a real twist.
Sure. Pretty dark. It gets pretty dark.
Yeah. Well, you'll be very excited to see it. The kids do not like this new adaptation. But yeah, happy Easter, man.
Oh yeah, happy Easter.
Yeah, what have you been up to? Do you have any Easter traditions? Anything like that?
The closest thing to a tradition is like maybe sometimes I do. Sometimes we do stuff with family, but DP always throws Easter party. He and Hannah.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I'm going over there later, and I got a raspberry Kringle I'm taking over there.
Ooh,
like an
Kringle.
An O and H
the official
Kringle.
Food of Wisconsin. Oh, that's the only kind that matters.
Yeah, well, they sell them at Trader Joe's. Like, weirdly enough,
I know.
They sell them at Trader Joe's for like $8, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I just go get one because everyone's like, I'm not really into Danish. And I'm like, yeah, because you haven't had an O&H Kringle.
If you don't know what Kringle is, it is a giant pastry that is the exact size and shape of a toilet seat.
That's true.
And
you eat that entire toilet seat.
And it's unbelievable. And this particular one is made by a bakery called O&H Bakery in Racine, Wisconsin, that Andrew and I had the pleasure of doing a gig in for like a couple of weeks, where we basically ate exclusively Kringle and whatever their like cheap light beer was.
Yeah, I don't even remember the name of the beer. It was just Kringle.
It didn't have a name. It was just
coffee.
said beer. It just said beer on it.
Yeah. This is Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We don't give things names so they make it to at least 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
So that's it.
That's a pretty good tradition.
That's the only tradition. Is it's a one time a year I eat Kringle. That's all I have to say about Kringle. I'm done talking about Kringle.
That's a pretty beautiful tradition.
Definitely.
My family, I think we did like the Easter egg hunt a few times, and then yeah, I was always kind of confused. Sometimes we would go to church, sometimes we would go get eggs. Easter's a confusing holiday, which is why I think it's fun that we're doing this Easter special.
It's a weird holiday. I don't get it at all. I don't know what it's about. I don't know who it's for. What is it?
Okay. Easter?
Yeah,
well,
what's Easter?
let's talk about it. Can I share some fan fiction musings about Easter?
Yeah, I would say this is the main place for that.
Yeah. If you didn't come for that, well,
you're in the wrong joint.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. No, it's a weird thing to go to a podcast for.
Yeah.
So the first one that I read was it was Lion King fan fiction, which was pretty cute.
That's cool.
It was I don't remember exactly what the categorization would be, but it's like if everything just went perfectly and there was no conflict, kind of a fan fiction.
Oh, like an alternate universe, but where nothing bad happened.
Yeah, I think that would be an Everyone Lives fan fiction. So the whole thing is Simba and Nala are cubs, and Mufasa tells Simba about this great holiday that they've never celebrated before, but it's a surprise, and it's Easter, and that's the surprise. And they have a big feast where they eat a bunch of animals, and they're really excited about that. And at the end, Nala gives Simba a little like lion smooch, and he blushes, and they all live happily ever after together. It was
And
very sweet.
that's how Easter came to Africa.
Yep. That's what it is. It's
Well,
a
you're
bunch
just
of lions
Uh-huh.
eating a lot and then making out.
See, that would get confusing, wouldn't it? If you were a lion, like which animals you could eat and which ones you could make out with.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess if you're just making out with other lions,
I guess it would only lions,
that's-
sure, but
that's cool. But you got to know that, like Timon and Pumbaa, they were definitely,
if
hooking
things
up.
if things got rough, they were definitely the first to get eaten for sure.
Oh yeah, I know. Seriously, they were playing with fire that whole time they were hanging out with.
No, lions. They were playing with lions.
Yeah.
That's what they.
That's what they're called.
That's what they're called.
Yeah, so that was interesting. So I just want you to think about those themes a little bit because
Smooching?
This all ties. Smooching, springtime, feasting, lions. There was nothing Easter Bunny related at all. Just a big feast.
Got it.
Then the second fan fiction I read was a X-Files fan fiction called Easter Egg Hunt. It was very
Ooh.
cute. Showed a lot of.
It wasn't like Easter egg hunt for what's out there or Easter egg hunt for the unknown.
No,
or Easter-
unfortunately, like the egg is out there.
Easter egg hunt the
something.
truth.
Yeah, nope.
So what happens in
There
it?
was, about what you'd expect. Well, there were a few cute references like that. That Mulder arranged the Easter egg hunt as a sexy scavenger hunt because he was raised Jewish and didn't know what Easter egg hunts were.
Also, he's a sex addict,
Right,
as we all know.
big time in this one especially.
Oh yeah.
So it takes Scully on a rhyming, sexy Easter egg hunt through like some of the cases they'd done in the past, including you might know these better than I do, but blood-sucking cow vampires.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, they had had like holes in their faces. I mean, they had like round mouths, I think.
Ooh, and they were cow suckers.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Or you think they were just making out with the cows?
Not in this one though.
Oh.
That would have been real spicy.
Sure.
The other one was a reference to Flukeman, and they said he was a slimy mutant thing. Does that ring any bells to you?
I mean, there's so many slimy mutants in that show.
That's true. They even make a joke about that in there. Yeah, but it was very cute, and it ended up with a very intense sex scene between Mulder and Scully, which everybody saw coming for a long time.
Define intense.
Oh, actually, I take that back.
Okay.
By fan fiction standards, very, very standard.
Gotcha.
Just, they're both very, very into it. It doesn't last very long. But
Gotcha.
And it ends with, "Oh my God, I love you, Scully," all one word.
I want to get that. I want to get that tattooed on my thigh.
Yeah, all one word.
All
It's
one
like
word,
stream
all
of
caps, 3 exclamation points.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be good.
Except that I would use my nickname for her, which is Scoliosis.
That's very cute. What's Mulder's? What's his nickname?
It is
Mulder on my mind.
Sure. It's Mulder on
is,
my mind.
It's a reference to that YNW Melly song "Murder on My Mind," where he actually confessed to killing his actual friends, which he was really guilty of, and is now in prison. In a song that was like on the Billboard Top 40, I believe.
Whoa.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Teenagers. Yeah. These are things that I would have never known about if I didn't work with high school students. So thanks for keeping me hip, gang.
Yeah, thanks for, teaching me what on fleek means.
Yeah. That is so
Have I ever
2016?
have we ever talked about hard? Like how
About
like
hard?
yeah, like about how all the kids say hard instead of cool. I'm about to make myself sound like the oldest man alive, but I'm doing it.
Well, that might be like a Tennessee thing.
Is it?
'Cause-
So here's the deal, right? When I
Yeah, go ahead.
when I first started teaching, I would roll up into a classroom and bring all these robotic stuff or whatever. I'd be like, hey, like show them how to do it, and all the kids would be like, oh, that's hard, and I'd be like, no, it's like quite easy actually, and they'd be like, oh, that's hard, and like over and over, and I was like, wait, I am a moron.
Yeah, no, I understand, man. I constantly, the references are, they're so multi-layered at this point, and they're so steeped in meme culture.
Oh yeah, it's all mimetic and it's all self-referential and it's embedded. I hate it.
Yeah, so it's like you watch the video, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. And it's just this little cartoon thing, like running in a circle.
Sure.
And it's like, no, you don't understand. That's a reference to a meme that was a reference to a meme that was a reference to a meme. And then they put it into Minecraft. And I'm like,
I can't. Let's stop this.
You know, it's funny. It's like this whole fan fiction thing. What I'm seeing revealed about humanity is that all we do is we just take things in and we remix it and remix it and remix it, and that's just all we do. It's like you can call it fan fiction or just the human brain, but that's all. We're like little pattern making machines. We take in an idea.
If I've learned anything from fan fiction and from working with youth, and this is an unpopular opinion that I'm about to take, but I'm going to say it anyways. Climate change not happening fast enough. It's like it's ready. Like I think it's time for us to be done with this. We have not been good shepherds of our planet or our culture. It's time. It's time to end.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like we either need to like level up or make room for the dolphins to level up and then become spacefaring, sky gods.
Yeah,
I feel that would be
exactly
maybe be a better universe.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I looked up that was Easter related, just because I was like trying to find things. Oh, I saw a lot of Bible fanfic, which is just like. Like Jesus
deeply erotic,
like chiseled, just Jesus with chiseled abs having sex with other biblical characters.
Whoa!
So, yeah,
I guess that's
so. I just kind of I was like, ooh, my early blasphemy like detector is like ding 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 ding.
Well, it's weird how at this point that's like I guess like maybe there was a time when we were doing the show where that would have been like interesting or shocking to me, but.
Yeah, at this point,
duh. That's step one. Like, that's step one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you do a crossover from that fan fiction to something else, to something else, to something else, and then it's only 1 page long of just like cryptic lines.
Yeah.
Then you've reached peak fanfic right there. But the thing that I was looking at was just that Easter itself is fan fiction of itself.
Okay, please explain.
And let me tell you what I mean. So there were 3 different religious traditions that all got remixed into each other to make Easter. First of all, there was the story of Jesus. Well, no, last of all, there was the story of Jesus. Okay. That's what we in the West would consider like the Jesus story. He dies 3 days later. He is resurrected and saves humanity's collective soul with his sacrifice. But
thanks, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, JC. The original story is the story of Ishtar or Astarte, the earth goddess, who was killed. And 2 other gods came down with water and plant and revived her after 3 days. But as a part of the revival, she could only shine her light for 6 months out of the year. So around Easter, named after Ishtar, then we have 6 months of light and growth, and then 6 months of no light and death.
Well, I knew
every year.
I knew that it Easter lined up with the fertility festivals of old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
in some capacity, but that's
one.
the extent of what I know about it.
Yeah, because it's it's near the spring equinox,
Right.
pagan festival of springtime, which is the third one. Oh, but another thing that's crazy is that Ishtar Astarte myth then also gets mixed into the Persephone myth of going down to Hades and then being able to come out for springtime and then 6 months Persephone is on the earth, and then 6 months she's in the underworld. So
And then when she comes out, she gets to visit in its spring.
Yeah,
Which,
exactly.
again, thanks, by the way.
Yeah, seriously, thanks Persephone. That's very chill of you.
Pretty chill.
And then the last one is exactly what you were talking about, the Easter festival for Oester or Ostara.
Yes.
Which is the goddess of spring.
'Cause that-
and where we
ahead.
get all of the imagery around Easter is from her. So the rabbit is her symbol, and she saved
Right.
a wounded bird once by turning it into a rabbit, and that rabbit still lays eggs, and that's the Easter bunny.
What? Also, I mean, basically across every culture, the rabbit is a symbol of fertility because of its
That makes sense.
massive
'Cause you know what rabbits be
fecundity.
doing, right?
Yeah. The kids know.
Gardeners.
The teens know. They know what the rabbits be up to.
Yeah. So the kind of the unifying factor is you got a lot of the same imagery getting retooled and spun back into these myths, but it's always about renewal. All of this is
Right.
the end of the dead period, and now the
Rising.
period of new life. Yeah.
From the dead, all that. And because that's the oyster, that's the what little I know about that is from that character in American Gods, not the show, but the book.
I haven't
which
seen the show.
read.
The book, that eats the dude with her vagina.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Which, again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
That guy seemed like a jerk.
Totally. Cool. You got so that I guess that sort of summarizes Easter for us.
Yeah, so that's sort of a fan fiction sampling of Easter.
Yeah.
And it had all the greatest hits, your favorite characters having sex, people being all cute and fluffy and happy with each other, and, pagan rituals of renewal as well. So
Oh, I would call him mold as ice.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Because he's stone cold hunk.
Yeah, he's he's a freak in the bed.
Oh,
My
100%.
fanfic.
That's
Yeah,
that's in the news. Everybody knows legitimately that David Duchovny is a weirdo.
Yeah, it's not cool. He's got toys and harnesses or whatever. It's weird stuff. He's no, these are fluffy gloves that I have to wear.
He's got
They're very
games,
large.
games and challenges that he plays.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely an escape room vibe to
Yes,
to having sex
100%.
with David Duchovny.
100%. Well, so I want to talk about something I've been thinking about for a while, and we're gonna take a pretty hard pivot here, but
Great. That's what Easter's all about.
hard pivot. And it's something that I think about and I've been perplexed by, and it's fanboys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what do you think I mean when I say fanboys?
When I hear fanboys, it's just people that bond together over their shared, deep, obsessive love over a fan culture.
Yes,
fanboys
and I think
are
obsessive is part of the key. And so the thing, the question is so I think you and I are fanboys to certain fandoms, but there is a difference between that and what I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
Well, I would like it to. Go on.
I would love for that to be the case. There's something I've been having a hard time to define, which is like there's like a toxic fanboy element that on one end of it that totally sucks. There's also there's another thing that happens, which is like, okay, so this is an example of what I'm talking about. I was hanging out with my friends. We were talking about, it was like my brother and some of my friends, and we were talking about nerd, right?
Okay.
And this dude who was sitting alone, doesn't matter that he was sitting alone, that it just happened to be the case. This dude like heard, Wolverine get tossed out or whatever. And then he like comes over and proceeds to talk to us for the next couple of hours. But in that like,
whoa,
in that like fanatic, like everything that is, I love everything that's ever been made. Like I don't have any room for criticism of anything. It's a fanaticism that I don't connect with.
Yeah, no, I don't. But like the idea that a fiction, like treating it, I think you see that a lot with Harry Potter. There's even, and this isn't exactly what they're doing with it, but like it's crazy that it exists. There's a podcast about Harry Potter called Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, where they literally read Harry Potter as a sacred text they're both theology students.
Whoa.
So they're like trying to glean like the underpinning teachings of Harry Potter by reading it like you would read a sacred text.
Well,
like what are the...
So that's the thing is that I used to think like, oh, these people treat it like religion and I don't. But that's not true. Like I think I maybe even treat it more like religion in a lot of ways because like I want to actively be making this kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
So is that the difference? Like the makers and the consumers? I don't think that's the only difference.
Maybe if it's like if you're not taking it from like, because if you like to make things like you like writing things, like you write scripts and stories and do art things all the time, make film. Yeah. When you start doing that and you start watching things, I feel like you take a step back from the just full immersive presence of it, and there's always that little part of your head running through of like, why is this working? How is this working? What is this like how did they do this? That's sort of a thing.
Okay, so that's interesting because that's like, so there's okay, so it's like the difference between a religion and a cult. Where like a religion, you're still interpreting the word, right? You're still like, I feel like trying to understand and interpret the word. And the cult, you are just taking it literally and hardlining to whatever you take.
Exactly. Like whatever is said,
that is totally the
like
difference.
Divine truth. So you approach it more like rabbinical school.
Sure.
Where you look at these texts and are kind of, you talk about it with people.
This sounds
you kind of you pick it apart together.
God pretentious.
Yeah. Well, you're just like when you're looking at Batman, it's you and a bunch of other bearded guys like passing around the Batman and being like, well, did you notice that the art style is reminiscent of this previous art style?
Not like,
I wonder if that's an allusion or a nod to it.
It's not like be the Batman, live the Batman. We are the Batman.
Like you just, brand the bat symbol on your arm and just say like, Bruce, Bruce,
Wayne.
Yeah. There is a big cult vibe to it. That's true. It's like if you get deep enough into the culture, you'll find the hardliners,
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, I guess like to take that a step further, then you have, that basically in that context, James Cameron is a god. Your words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my words. Well,
or Lucas,
He loves it. Well, but then there's the flip of that where it's like these guys loved the stuff so much that they learned the whole craft and then like like remixed it all together to make something new that is technically a new thing. Like, it has all these elements, but like because it has characters that haven't been named before, you know, and alien race names and planet names that haven't been named before, technically it's a new thing. But aren't we just coming up to the point that like basically like the human mind can only take in what it's had before and remix and remix and remix? Like, I don't know, like that. Oh, this is kind of a weird veering thing, but it's like I'm interested in how new thing, like a new concept, like a mathematical concept or something, or something that didn't already exist. How are we discovering new things? Because it looks like every human life is basically just rediscovering what previous generations discovered, and you spend your whole life kind of doing that. Like, you live and are learning what happened before and maybe building off of these old ideas, but those big quantum leaps, like
a mathematical principle or formula or whatever is different than what's happening culturally, because you would argue that it's always, you're discovering it, not inventing it. It's always been there. It's always been laced into the fabric of the universe, you know? Like, that's
fair. Yeah, yeah.
And then you're just revealing it. Whereas like with culture, we're sort of generating stuff, but but not really. I mean, I think we kind of stopped doing that a long time ago. We've just been recycling it, and that's okay. That's how like a culture mutates, like that's as a culture in a petri dish does. And I was reading this art critic a while back, who basically like a lot of his angle on things is how there's not really anything new, but it's our tastes which draw us to things. There's not really like this is good or this is bad. It's just our taste, our certain flavor that pulls us to things. But he basically was just like, the last new thing that I saw, that I've experienced, was breakdancing.
Oh,
which I thought was really interesting. Yeah,
yeah. And even then, it's like dance. Like that's a perfect example. Like, dance has always been around. Like, all these different, disparate cultures all around the world spontaneously develop their own flavor of dance, their own flavor of music, their own flavor of stories, and like, but all those things are there. So it's like, it's almost like these recycling fictions, recycling myths, stories, making them. Oh, I was even reading a thing about Hinduism, where in old Hindu stories, they don't care about when something actually historically happened. There's kind of this story, and then they would just, every new king that would come around, they would update this parable with like the name of that king, because then it makes it relevant to the culture, because it's really about the parable that's being told. They just would modernize it. So it's really hard to pin down the origins of some of these Hindu texts and stories, because they didn't care about linear time the way that Abrahamic religions cared about linear time. They thought of it as a big cycle. So it's like they literally are just recycling the same stories and just putting new names and things into it. It's
yeah.
Oh, man.
I think that's like it's all cyclical.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Good night, Andrew.
Good night, Zach. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. I just thought of something pretty funny.
Okay.
So that guy who came up to us that night and just like talked to my brother and I and our friends for a really long time. Wolverine guy. I just realized like one of the last things I said to him was like, hey, like, here's the link to my podcast. Oh, shit.
Hey, Wolverine guy. Hope you're listening.
Tell us to fuck off at Xandrew at fan.fiction.show.
Oh, man.